Hello friends, today we will learn the concept of asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is basically a mode of reproduction that is not sexual, and that's why it is called as asexual reproduction. So what is sexual reproduction? In this mode of reproduction, two organisms, and these two organisms are generally of opposite sex, that is male and female, they produces haploid cells which are called as gamete. Male produces male gamete and female produces female gamete. So the name of the gamete varies according to the type of organism, and in case of animals, male gamete is called as sperm and female gamete is called as egg. And when these two gametes, the male and female gamete, they fuse with each other, the process in which these two gametes fuse, it is called as fertilization, the fusion of male gamete and female gamete. So after fertilization, a single cell which is formed is called as zygote, and this zygote ultimately develops in the new organism. So this is the basic concept of sexual reproduction. Male gamete and female gametes are produced, they fuse with each other to produce a cell which is called as zygote, and then zygote develops into the new organism, either male or female. In some cases, the male gamete and female gamete both are produced by a single organism only. In this also, the male gamete and female gamete, they will fuse and they will produce zygote, and finally the zygote will be converted into the new organism. So this happens in case of sexual reproduction. But in case of asexual reproduction, such fusion of gametes is not observed. In asexual reproduction, one organism, either it directly produces a new organism, or the organism they produces structures which are called as asexual structures, and this structure are then converted into the new organisms. So let us see the first kind, in which one organism give directly birth to the other organism. This mode of reproduction, this mode of asexual reproduction, is generally observed in unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium and bacteria. In this unicellular organism, cell division is the simple mechanism of asexual reproduction, in which one cell gradually divides into the two cells. So since one cell is dividing into the two cells, the process is called as binary fission. So binary fission is the mode of reproduction in case of bacteria, in case of amoeba and paramecium. Bacteria is prokaryotic organism, and amoeba and paramecium both are eukaryotic organism. Yeast also reproduce by the same mechanism, by the cell division, but in this case the mechanism is little different. In this case, the original cell or the mother cell which is going to divide, which is going to reproduce, it first produces a small cell which is remained attached to its body or its cell. This small cell is called as the bud. Gradually this bud, it increases in the size, and finally it get detached from the mother cell. So since the first cell arises in the form of bud, that's why the process is called as budding. So let us see the second type of asexual reproduction, in which organism first produce structures known as asexual structures, and then asexual structures then gradually develops into the new organism. In different organisms, these asexual structures are different, and let us see the actual examples one by one. So let us begin with the first example, and the first example is Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is the unicellular green algae. This unicellular organism, first it produces nearly 8 to 16 cells in its cytoplasm, and each small cell is nearly similar to the mother cell. Each cell is having two flagella like structure, and this small structure are called as zoospore. Ultimately, with the time, these zoospores they rupture the membrane of the mother cell, and finally each zoospore it becomes or it is converted into the new chlamydomonas. So in this case, asexual structure is zoospore. Second example is penicillium. Penicillium is the multicellular fungi. This fungi produces conidium or conidiospores in this particular area. This is the diagrammatic representation of penicillium. Let me put the actual structure of penicillium here. So here is the actual microscopic photograph of penicillium. So this particular part is called as conidium, and this conidium, when it is transferred to the new place, it germinates or it is converted into the other organism. See, this whole part, this whole structure is of fungi. This part is called as hyphae. It is the actual body of the fungi, and this is the asexual structure, that is the conidium or conidiospore, which is produced by this fungi. So in this case, conidium or conidiospores is the asexual structure. Hydra, which is very small freshwater organism, it produces by budding. This organism first produces a very small outgrowth which gradually increases in size and finally get detached from the organism, the original organism. So this process is nearly similar to the budding in yeast. Only difference is the yeast is unicellular organism and Hydra is multicellular organism. So in this case, in the case of Hydra, the asexual structure is bud. Last example we will discuss are the sponges. Sponges are the aquatic animal. Although they don't look like animal, they look like plants. But these animals, they produces small structure, multiple small structures which are known as gemmules. Let me put some photographs. So these are the beautiful photographs of aquatic sponges. They are very beautiful animal, and these are the structures which are known as gemmules. So whenever a gemmule is transferred to the new location, into the fresh location, each gemmule is converted into the new sponge. So in this case, the asexual structure is gemmule.